The Idaho has the following features: VANGO lifetime guarantee, fire retardant fly sheet, inner tent, mesh and ground sheet reduce the possibility of ignition from naked flames. Protex 2000 polyester fly sheet, durable, totally waterproof and reliable. Sewn-in ground sheet for added comfort and protection. Seam-taped fly sheet for long-lasting protection. Mesh ventilation on the inner tent reduces the build-up of condensation and keeps bugs out. Bathtub inner ground sheet for total climate protection. Fiberflex fiberglass poles, tough, sturdy and reliable. External continuous pole sleeves for ease of pitching. Color-coded poles ensure the correct poles are in the correct pole sleeves. Pre-angled poles, creating additional living space and enhanced pole stability. Fly sheet vents, providing comfort inside for all conditions. Crystal clear windows to allow maximum light into the tent, as well as outside viewing. Zip entry, handled carry bag, easy to pack and go. To pitch your Idaho. Zip open the tent bag and lay out the components: the inner tent, the fly sheet, the pole bag and the peg bag. Assemble the poles and lay them out on the ground. You should have 4 poles in total. 2 long poles for the main dome, 1 medium pole for the bedroom, 1 short pole for the inner tent. On this tent, the fly sheet pitches first. Open out the fly sheet and position it in the required direction. Insert the fly sheet poles through the sleeves on the outside of the fly sheet. The poles are color-coded to match the corresponding pole sleeve entry points. When you insert the poles into their sleeves, take care not to force the poles through. Avoid pushing long poles through sleeves. Instead, feed the material onto the poles, gathering short lengths and pulling the material onto the poles gradually. Never pull the poles. On one side of the fly sheet, locate an end of each pole into the metal pin system. Follow the fly sheet seam down from the pole sleeve to find the correct pin system. At this stage, to avoid excess strain on the poles and the tent, it is a good idea to have a helper to hold the diagonal poles upright when you form the arch. Push the poles into an arch from opposite ends and locate the pole ends into the corresponding metal pin. Clip the tent onto the poles using the plastic hooks. Peg out the main corners at the rear of the tent using the steel V-channel pegs. Pull the tent forward until taut and peg out the main corners at the front of the tent. The ground sheet should be flat and wrinkle-free. Secure the tent using the pin pegs through the ring and pin system and through the elastic loops. Peg out all the guy lines using pin pegs, ensuring that the guy line fabric attachment points are evenly tensioned. Open out the inner tent inside the fly sheet and position the doorway to correspond with the porch and entrance of the fly sheet. Starting from the rear corners of the tent, attach the elasticated hooks on the ground sheet to the corresponding rings on the fly sheet anchor straps. Suspend the inner by attaching the toggles of the inner tent through the black rings on the inside of the fly sheet. Do the rear row first and then the front row. The center toggles are color-coded. Once the inner tent is in place, ensure the webbing loops at the base of its doorway are pegged into the eyelets on the ground sheet. Thread the short pole through the white rings in the roof and put the pole ends into the eyelets in the tape. Install the inner tent divider if required, using the rings and toggles. Taking the tent down is the reverse of putting it up. Close the windows. Close the inner doors. Remove the inner tent. Close the outer doors. Unpeg the guy lines and roll them away. Unpeg the base of the tent. Release the pins from the poles. Push the poles out of the sleeves. Don't pull them. Fold the inners and fly sheet to fit the carry bag and pack away.